Secretary will be right back. Back there. Here.
De act.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I have just finished my meeting with the Council, and during that meeting I briefed them on the subjects which will be discussed during our trip to Moscow. We then had an exchange of views with respect to a number of those matters, and I was very happy to receive suggestions and advice from various members of the Council. I'd be delighted to take any questions which the European press have.
Mr. Secretary, is it true that the ceiling in this whole package goes as low as 1,500?
I am not going to go into details on any numbers.
Mr. Secretary,
Yes.
Do you have a comprehensive package for SALT 2, or else if that was not with reductions, or else if that was not agreed, the return to Vladivostok ceiling simply as it was said?
Yes. Basically, there will be two packages. One, a comprehensive package, which would involve deep reductions, and the second would be an alternative package. That package would set aside the controversial issues, namely backfire and cruise, and proceed to an early resolution of the remaining issues and a signing based upon the Vladivostok numbers.
Mr. Secretary, would you
Yes.
Discuss with the Allies here the effect of the human rights issue on your negotiations?
Yes, we did have a discussion of that.
To what extent do the European allies support Mr. Curtis and your views?
I think they would have to speak for themselves on this. I found a good deal of interest in our proposals. I had a sense that they generally supported the line that we were taking, but they really should speak for themselves rather than I attempting to speak for them. Yes.
Mr. Secretary, do you intend to ask the Soviet government not to deploy mobile missiles, and particularly not to deploy a new IRBM targeted against Europe?
We're getting into the amount of detail that I really don't feel it's appropriate to get into in a public discussion.
Mr. Secretary,
Yes.
It's been suggested that the United States is taking a hard line in these negotiations because the less ambitious package of simple ratification of Vladivostok has been rejected by the Russians, and the more ambitious package seems to clash with Mr. Brezhnev's view that he's not interested in any new developments and wants to stick to the basic outline of Vladivostok. How do you handle that, sir?
Well, we think that the comprehensive package is a package that really begins to get at the heart of the problem because it leads to substantial reductions and thus brings about greater stability. And that's the whole purpose of arms control in the strategic field, to get reductions that can lead to greater stability and thus diminish the chances of conflict. If it is not possible to reach an agreement on such a package as a framework for the detailed discussions, which of course will have to take place in Geneva, they could not take place in such a short meeting as we will be having during our visit to Moscow, then we have said there is another much simpler alternative, and that simply is to set aside the controversial issues, agree on the Vladivostok numbers and the other smaller issues which remain open, and get on to a discussion of the more fundamental questions in SALT 3, so that we think that this is a very reasonable and balanced approach to be putting before them.
Secretary, how much do you
Yeah.
think you can achieve in Moscow?
I really don't know. I hope that we can achieve the basic objective, and that basic objective, as I have said before, is to try and reach agreement on a framework. And that framework would then serve as the frame within which the discussions would take place on a detailed basis in Geneva. If we were to achieve that, I think we would have made substantial progress. Whether that can be accomplished, I simply don't know.
Have you already had, Mr. Secretary, an initial response from the Russians to these latest proposals?
No, have not. Yes, sir.
To talk about Africa in Moscow.
I expect Africa to be one of the subjects on the agenda, yes. Couple of more questions.
The Secretary,
Yes.
apart the questions you will discuss in Moscow, did you brief the Council today about the situation in the Eastern Mediterranean and in particular the relations between Greece, Turkey, and Cyprus?
No, we did not discuss that today. We had a brief discussion or a few questions with respect to the Arab-Israeli problems, but there was no discussion of Greece and Turkey's.
Your evaluation about the situation?
Where, in Greece and Turkey, or the Cyprus? Which are you talking about?
Secretary, will you continue to brief your
Wait,
allies?
I have a question I have to answer there. As I understand it, the Cyprus talks will be commencing again under the aegis of the United Nations in Vienna in a few days. I think that that is progress. I hope very much that when those meetings take place that new proposals will be put on the table. If they are, then I think that that would be a substantial step forward. I think that there's probably nothing much that I can add that you don't already know with respect to the questions relating to the differences between Greece and Turkey on the Aegean. One more question. Yes, that will be one of the subjects that's on the agenda. Thank you all very much.
Klap. Tweede klap. Dus, ouder.